Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. This is really holiness and an opportunity to see what's true. And the invitation is just always here to join. And it's really tempting just to watch these joining sessions like on Facebook or YouTube, but really the call and the truth of the call for these is to come together on the Zoom and just listen to Jesus's call to come together on the Zoom, and then really us looking together with a brother and asking for help in the joining to clear the denials. So these joinings are really for us coming together to go, okay, here's where the twitch is. Here's where I can see that I don't want to be light, or to really ask Jesus, because we really don't know all the places in the mind. So it's not, some of these may seem, it's not just for this being to speak, which I will today if no one joins or has anything to share, but we really encourage the sharing, because that's where we are able to clear the mind and leverage the power of joining. It's because the ego doesn't want to do that. It wants to keep its little fiefdom separate and be off by itself and doing its own thing. And it's really the beauty of what we have together here at the center, that there's a continual joining, continual just looking and looking. And it takes that, you can ask Jesus, it takes that kind of devotion. Truly, if the call for the heart is to transcend the world, this joining is given by him. And so it's just a reminder too, that we're going to have set some times. There's some beings that want to devote their time to be available for joining, and you can join one-on-one. But it's also given here to see the power of these sessions to go, okay, so here is where I don't want to follow Jesus. That's okay. That's what we look at. We don't want to admit we don't want to follow him. So he has to come in and say, look, here's the place. We have to be willing enough for Jesus to show us specifically, okay, here's the place in the mind where you want to say no, because we've hidden them so well from ourselves. And he's reminding me, the real kind of the pedal to the metal, the real acceptance of the course materials is through joining. There isn't, if he's mentioning joining 400 times in A Course in Miracles, that's what it's for. And that's why we're working. He's having us have an assignment to work on a 45-day program. It is an online program, but the program is actually to put our trust in Jesus, really, and to have a joining partner and to join every single day. The ego is going to find every excuse not to do it. But the question is, are we committed enough to A Course in Miracles to see if everything Jesus promises is true in A Course in Miracles? That's really the question for all of us. Yes, Jesus can be seen anywhere. It's just that because we're not following divine light, we're going to feel guilty. I can join here, or I can do, no, it doesn't work like that. It works like, Jesus, what would you have me do now? That's how it works. And what he would have us do is join, like come together with our brother and pray. And he said something so beautiful that we're going to capture for that 45-day program. We'll catch it right now. And that is that your brother is like an antenna for God in your mind. That's why he has joining. It's like an antenna that points straight up, or at least will show you and reveal to you where you don't want to say yes to yourself. Actually, it's a divine being. The antenna of God in your brother. That's the function of joining, to see where we don't want the antenna and we don't want to join. So that's really the question. Are we committed to ourselves enough as a divine being to jump a join? Nonstop jumping joins, jump, jump, jump. And the beings that have transcended personal identity, have made that commitment, will say it. It'll be very consistent. You could ask David Hoffmeister or Chris Kirsten or some of these other symbols in form who have made the commitment to the transcendence of Lisa Fair, who have made that 100% commitment to God, to follow Jesus's teachings. And they will tell you too that joining is a fundamental, essential part of A Course in Miracles, yet very few teachers of A Course in Miracles talk about this fundamental, essential part of God's atonement plan. So the consciousness, the play in consciousness with the ego is loves the armchair. It loves dabbling. It loves saying, okay, I'll talk to Jesus in the future, or Jesus is with me anywhere. Of course he is. It's just you have to follow him. That's all. Because we can't find our way out without him, and the joining is given to see where to look directly at the denials. And again, it's the willingness, it's an expression of willingness to look directly at Jesus with the highest level of specificity and precision. I'm just talking to him, yes, because this is all for me. And without him, there's nothing, actually. Nothing more important than Jesus. You just see, you can't, it's a maze. We created like this functional maze. And without him, you'll see, it's easy to see that we're light. That's not difficult at all. What we've made difficult is not wanting to see light and saying no to light. Like consistently like, no, I don't want to see it. And even those in deep devotion to Jesus, the way you find out how much you don't want finding light is to follow Jesus. That's it. Because at first you go, oh, I really do. I want enlightenment. No. Without going down, you can see that there's light. And he really made this very clear to me. It was a stepping stone. It was really a stepping stone to ask the question, and is the light here? And you start seeing, yeah, the light's really here. But you don't see how much you don't want light until he takes you down in the basement and says, let me show you. Especially with a brother, because you can just see it, there's an assignment comes in, you're going to join with the brother. And all of a sudden, again, you got to take the dog out for a walk or anything not to be present with the brother. He's saying yes, which is a symbol of not wanting to be present with him, with ourselves. It's not even with Jesus. It's being fully present with ourselves. It's the movement in consciousness to distract from that deeper looking with Jesus in these joining sessions. So he's given these beautiful instructions. They're in the beings that really commit to this, and you can see Mona, you'll see them talk about it when they're really talking to Jesus, that it goes infinite, but just ceases to not be infinite. So again, we're going to have the joining express. And if you want to join that, so that brothers are going to be available more and more for this kind of joining, because it is the way given by Jesus. And it is our function here at the center to extend this for us. See, it's for us to follow his guidance. It's his course. He is in charge of the atonement. And so we follow, and we just keep inviting, because it's a symbol of inviting our brother into our hearts continually. This is the means, actually, he's saying, given by him to see that giving and receiving is one. Joining is the means given by him. Coming together with your brother in this prayer is the means given by him for seeing that giving. He says yes. That's why it's given. He's saying, this is why this is given. This is the means given by me to you to celebrate that all is one. That you can never be apart from the Father. I said, Jesus, is this a direct assignment from you, in direct guidance from you, for beings to come together and join? Yes. Is it an essential part of Course in Miracles? Yes. Oh, he's using the words, do this in memory of me. Do this in memory of me. He says it's very practical. That's why the ego avoids it. It will help you tune to hear my voice. He says it will help you be more willing to hear my voice and to follow my voice. It's the way you'll hear me through your brother antenna. Your heaven antenna of your brother. Now, we don't think of our brother that way. I'm asking if it's okay to talk about. So we were joining and just kind of talking about it, and he said, and he uses you'll find he uses very precise words. When he tells you to look at something, it's going to be very precise. And the ego kind of wants to float away from that. But one of the things is that was a belief, or it's just energy. It's not anything, but we hide from looking. It's just the most hilarious thing. But, I get it because I played the game. I needed him to say, look right here, look right here. But that to see ourselves as our brother, he used specifically these words, is icky. Now, I wouldn't have thought of that kind of word, icky. But this whole joining is about letting him guide instead of the kerfuffle of, okay, I'm really upset right now. And then you go into a rampage about it, or because the ego loves that, loves spending time on, here's the thing I'm upset about, and I have to go to the airport and it's not working out. Or in the case, like just say I was going to fly to New Orleans on Thursday. Here comes a Category 4 plane. So in the past, probably would go into what the heck, Jesus, you told me, which he did. He assigned me to fly here on a certain day and to go to New Orleans on a certain other day. But if we get attached to that, it's not guidance to be attached to anything, actually. That's out of guidance to be attached. We just keep joining with him. Okay, what now? It's to bring us very present, not worrying about the past or the future. Joining is to bring us to presence, to where we deny presence right here, right now. It seems to be about something in the past arising or something in the future, which is another trick play in consciousness. That's why we in the play, and rather than getting involved in the play, I'm this and telling a story about it, we just go silent and we go, Jesus, we join with him and our brother in a moment of infinite light. And then we go, okay, Jesus, show me the specific desire below my level of awareness. He's getting so specific. He's getting so direct that you can hear him with that level of clarity. I'm asking him it's okay to say this because I know Jesus loves Helen. I mean, what can he say more about Helen and Bill? But his point is, and he loves Helen, and he's there for her, and he was there for her when she transitioned. It's just that we have to learn from these appearance into consciousness if we can hear his voice so clearly, but we don't follow him to the T. That is denial of everything that we are. So you can't partially deny it. You can only try to wholly deny it. And then you really can't truly deny it, but you can stay in the dream to pretend you can deny it. So following him to the T is the commitment to ourselves to wake from the dream of suffering and despair. And joining is following Jesus to a T. That's what it is. Because it is the fastest way, unequivocally. Jesus, is there anything different? No, it is the fastest way out of the dream. And we use a symbol of our brother until we are willing to accept fully, to continually join and have that conversation with him 24/7. Okay, Jeebus, what about this? Well, what about this? And as I've said, now it's you're sitting at lunch going, okay, having a conversation with them. Well, okay. And it's not, there's nothing special about that at all. I'm talking to him about talking to Helen. I had to be that beginning in the course, because the ego makes this whole talking to Jesus special. There's too much fear in the mind to say for everyone to admit they can talk to him. But now he's going, you're powerful, infinite being. This is you. And his only message is, you can talk to me. But if you don't talk to your brother and you don't use the joining to kind of to tune into me and then speak what I'm telling you and practice, so you can see where you don't want to speak your own voice. This is all the joining's for. It's for you to see, look, I don't want to speak my own voice, and I don't want to listen to Jesus and have him tell me where I'm denying what I am. Oh, good. So, God's an equal opportunity employer. It's the only equal opportunity that there is. It's the ego that wants to create a non-level playing field and dabble in it. So I'll just open it up and see if there's anything, maybe Mary and Renee are hearing something that we'd like to look at today. Otherwise, we're just going to call and keep calling to our brother, come join. Oh, here's Mary bringing a gift. And that's another great thing Jesus did. So thank you, Mary, because she's really a demonstration. Oh my gosh, this is so touching to say. First of all, willingness and understanding that when we ask for help or ask for joining, we're bringing a gift. And Jesus said that is accepting yourself at the highest level. That's beautiful. Okay.
Okay, well, there have been so many incidents in the last 24 hours, it seems like, where some kerfuffle, some unexpected situation would arise. Renee and I are here at the center, and Kay is not physically present here at the moment, and so we can call her and join, and I didn't want to join. I went into some kind of funk, and what I started to see was that I had a desire not to be responsible for my mind, not to be responsible for my thoughts. And this is not like a news flash. um, there's like what the Zen Buddhists call the monkey mind. I mean, I've known for years that my mind is just like all over the place if there's not some recognition of what's going on and a willingness to look at it and say, okay. And until I really got into the Course in Miracles, and then now Jesus, a New Covenant, and now here at the center, where 24/7, no kidding, 24/7, it's like there is the opportunity to join if there's the willingness there. So I realized that I was allowing my mind to cook up all kinds of grievances. You might, it seemed like they were fairly innocent, but it was growing, and so I can't remember exactly what happened, but we were trying to get together that evening and our technology wasn't working. And it was like we were, our computers weren't, all this stuff was going on. And when we finally joined and I started looking at the level of the desire for anger about all of this, and what it came down to was that through joining and looking at it directly, which, I wasn't really excited about doing, was that I was really feeling guilty. I was feeling guilty about allowing my mind to start to complain. There was this inner grumbling going on. Oh, I don't want to walk the dogs because the dog just lunges at all the little kids or all the bicycles, blah, 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 whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. And so in the joining that we did, what came out was the anger and the grievances, the grumbling, and then below that, the guilt that I didn't want to look at, and I was projecting it outward. I was angry. I was angry at Kay. I was angry at Renee. So we are constantly reminding each other to check in with the light, to do the light check, to check in with Jesus and listen and then share. What are you hearing, Renee? Kay, Mary will ask me, what are you hearing, Mary? And so there's this, out of the joining, there is this growing trust that what we are hearing is from Jesus, and it starts to become very clear, and as Kay has said, very specific about what is going on. I would not have thought it was guilt, but that's what we got down to, the guilt for allowing my mind to just do whatever it wanted to do and then not wanting to take responsibility for that. So I had to sleep on it last night. And what I notice, what I've seen is that there are times when I will feel like I am stuck in something, and it's like it's really an unwillingness to really own it, to really be responsible for my thoughts and my mind. And sometimes it seems like, and this is a delay tactic, but it just seems like, okay, I can't, I'm going to be with this for a while. Well, I woke up today, Jesus was talking to me when I got up this morning, and the first thing he said was, it's guilt. You feel guilty because you won't take responsibility for your mind. So the longer I'm here, the more I recognize the power of joining with another mighty, and what Jesus will speak or what is being demonstrated and witnessed to with that other person or with those seeming other persons, and the power of something that transcends us individually in our personal identities that comes through, so that the differences disappear and all we're looking at is what is true, what is there to see for the healing of the mind. Yeah. So thank you to my mighties.
It's very, all the power of God comes in through this joining, because we see where we're denying that we're already God. That's what the joining's for. And I see it's all for me, because then it becomes the crickets, our function is to sing like crickets. He said, yes, just be love. And so I started to see, how someone would come near me, like I'm working on something, and I could just feel like that timing is starting. As we watch our minds, like Mary, like you're saying, to be responsible for our mind is everything, right? And how much we don't want to be responsible for our mind. But when it clicks, when we really say, okay, give it to me, Jesus, like I don't know how to put that. They laugh at me because, not at me, but laugh with me, because everything's ask Jesus and, kind of balls to the wall kind of thing. But I can't find another way. It's the way for me to just totally be committed to him, because it's commitment to myself. It's commitment to be the original state as made by God. And how holy that is to be in that together, and how we're given to each other only for that purpose, for the complete repurpose of using our brother to prove that we are not one. And he just is, as he does with every single thing. We talk about it here at the center. He uses time to undo time. He uses schedules to undo the idea of the schedule. He uses roles to undo the idea that we have any other role than supreme happiness. So now we're giving these amazing mighties that are going to stand into the truth with us to be the answer to our call for God. Now that's really turning the world around into holy relationship. And to look, and sometimes we do want to walk away, but the point is, because that's what we've been doing the whole time, but we don't let it last long. It gets shorter and shorter because we know that the trick is only on ourselves. we're only dinking around with divinity. Like, why am I not happy? Because I don't want to be. I don't want to be happy right now. I mean, that's what it all boils down to. But he's got to show us, because we're so convinced that we are happy. I mean, consciousness is a play of pretending we're happy when we're really not. So this is really, it's just really devotion, what you're pointing to, Mary. It's refusing to be weak, actually. But that's really glorious that he woke you up, that he told you that directly, because that's a kingpin, that part about guilt, and how the anger is actually to hide that. See, it comes in as a little smoke screen, that we're really pissed off, but it's always, he's really helping, at least me, look under, to keep looking under it. And it's guilt for not following our own light. How about that? So we don't follow our light, then we feel guilty, then to hide the guilt, we get mad. Smoke screen. But we see it now. And then we have a brother that comes along and is a symbol in our mind of devotion, who's willing to listen to Jesus and look again. And then we see why our brother lays the gift at our feet. He lays the gift of infinite at our feet. He lays the gift of what we are at our feet.
Yeah, this thing about not following what we're hearing from Jesus. My personal identity has been to be nice. I don't know if I go so far as to people please, but I'm nice. And so here at the center, there are seva functions, and there's lead and follow, as there are at another of other centers and monasteries. And this was like somewhat of an unusual role for me to take on as a lead. And I noticed that what I was doing was not letting my yays be yay and my nays be nay, not being really checking in and being very clear about the guidance, and then just saying it. And there's no story to it. There's no trying to make it easy or sweeten it up or sugarcoat. There's just, okay, this is what I'm hearing. And that I hadn't been doing that. And that was, and that's where the guilt was coming from. And on top of that was anger, which I was projecting outward. This whole play in consciousness, to want to see, what it is I'm thinking and doing, and then push it out there rather than step back and say, okay, what is it about my old beliefs or my desires for this experience or whatever that is bringing about this kind of result where I want to get angry and lash out. being very clear about the yeses and the nos. And thank you, Holy Spirit. Yeah, for that. You know, in the moment, thank you, Holy Spirit, for letting me be very clear and being willing to listen to that quiet voice and not all the other loud, distracting kinds of things that go on in the mind.
Yeah, that's a helpful thing to that's what joining gives. And I love that where Lisa said, you know, Lisa Fair told me, like, if I have one little uncertainty in the mind, I join. That's what it's for. And so many times, and we've talked about it here, oh, the other person's too busy, or you can even feel it when a brother comes in, you feel that little, you know, I'm working on this, oh, you know, and I'm just asking him, is joining the most important thing? Yes, there is nothing more. It doesn't mean that you can't say, if it's in guidance, no, okay, give me 5 minutes, you know, because the ego will turn this whole thing into, you know, join, you know, I'm a doormat. No, he's just saying that the whole point of it is to see when we're avoiding joining and come to him. It's just a signal. When your brother shows up in your mind, it's a signal to go to him. See, then it becomes a signal. Go up to Jesus. Okay, Jesus, what do I say right now? That's what it is. So he's giving something coming in the visual field or in the auditory field. And it's training just to go, okay, what do you want me to, you know, to go up? What's in service to the whole right now? So whereas we used to look at our brother and like ping off of a brother and come up with a whole story about what the WTF and what's the problem and what do they want now, to go, see brother, go up. See brother, go up, speak, listen, speak as the whole in totality. So it's training us to go into full service for the whole. How can I be of service to totality, which is to celebrate totality? The only way to be in celebration of, in service to totality, is to celebrate it as divine function. I'm asking you, yes. So this, and I can see why I you know, living in community didn't look so attractive, you know, because in this kind of, you know, the 24/7 thing is, it's because it's so quick to transcend, because you're constantly in training to be with him. There are no distractions other than what now, Jesus, what now, Jesus, what now, Jesus, speak it. And then in that, the old voices just fall away because we're not paying. Who says we have to pay attention to them? That's like a big assumption. I love being able to ask Jesus, do I need to, is this something for me to think about? And he says, no. And then to have that fall from the mind. And until we're willing to talk to Jesus with that high level of specificity, to go to our brother and say, is this something that I need to be thinking about? And hear it together, or no, or yes, look at this. But like Mary's pointing to say those yeses and nos and see what we're saying yes to. We are saying yes to all the love of the Father when we follow a prompt to join. I'm asking, yes, that's what he says. You are saying yes when you say yes to joining, because it's given by him for the atonement. That's, he's really clear for me. You are saying yes to everything that's given to you by the Father. So we have to know what we're saying yes to when he's calling us into these joinings and we're invited. And are we willing to do 45 days with Jesus? Just step with that 45 days of joining. Everything here, like, I didn't even know when the name was given by him, joining in light, you know, in 2014, that how profoundly needed my mind needed that light, join in light, join in light, to constantly, you say it, you hear it, joining, you know, that's right in it, right in it, joining in light. I needed it, you know, until he could help show me what that meant, really, what joining means, and how fundamental, and to deliver that message from through me, seemingly, of the importance it is essential to the atonement. It's just essential. He's just making it so clear. But until we say yes, say yes, okay, I'll call this joining in light. Okay. Until we start saying yes to all those things, he has no opportunity to reveal help us see within the mind what he sees. Because when he says I'm going to, you don't need to know anything. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. Like he means it, first of all. We're so busy thinking we know, we don't let him tell us.
Yeah, he's talking to me right now about that. That in the play of consciousness, our usual way of relating to people is to plan out what we're going to say or think we already know who this person is, who we are, and how we're going to relate to them. And so our minds are going all the time. But with joining with the miracle worksheet in chapter 20, all of that, I go into it not knowing. And because, Jesus says, when two or more are gathered, there will I be. That adds a whole different way of being in that joining. So that, and what he's saying is, in the joinings that I participate in through chapter 20 or through here at the center and through calls that come in, is that I don't need to know anything. That when I'm joining with that person, miracles happen. There are things that come up, and there's guidance that comes through that never would happen if I'm off in my corner, doing my little thing.
Yes.
It's quite extraordinary. It's extraordinary.
That's
Yeah.
so beautifully said, but we can't know it until we actually step into it. That's the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's really teaching me from the ground up what revelation is. Because we've kind of talked about it. I thought, as I've said many times, okay, so you're enlightened and then all the lights go out. But no, what happens is the light comes on. The light of God comes through. That's what happens. It's no longer staying in darkness, but the revelation, because it's the holy instant is helpful to see, but we have to see where we don't want it. And the revelation have it revealed that we don't want miracles and don't want the light is what needs to be seen. He says, yes, we have to see and admit how much we do not want miracles and do not want the light. And isn't there, and the beings here can probably share their experience, but it's revelatory when we see it, because then we see the choice. Because I think Martin wrote me about, I was watching these videos and then it came to me really the understanding of what's below desire. What's below desire is the choice to desire something other than. And to see that we by direct looking, that we still want it, and then to see how much we know we can't have it, but still will want the experience of hell. Even though knowing it's not possible, we still want it and don't want to see the light. And so this joining is, it's how to learn the honesty of God that he's teaching, honesty, how to be radically self-honest. That's what we're really talking about, not the honesty of the world, but the only honesty is, where am I denying divinity? And dishonesty is to speak anything other than his voice. That's dishonesty. Whoa. So that joining, it just puts it right there. Here it is. You speak my voice, you're in honesty. Anything else, no. Whoa. Okay. Thank you, Jesus. Make it clear. But he understands that in the interim, we're so used to speaking with the serpent tongue, it takes a while for the switch over. So we can, the honesty of God is admitting the denial. So he's not making us wrong, you know, for the play of dishonesty. He's just saying, this will help you see that you're choosing dishonesty. You're choosing the serpent tongue. You're choosing those experiences that would deny yourself the kingdom of heaven. That's direct. And the means given is through joining. Like Mary's, I mean, she's so on point with it. Like, that's God speaking right there. So listen to her. We're tuned in.
Mm.
This joining is the means given by him. Yeah, this is for all of us. And I'm so grateful. And so this is just an event because I know it's for me. Like when those beings join with all the beings out there that we're calling to, and in the 45-day online joining in light, the how to join with Jesus 40 days, where you join with a brother every day, that is a priority, and making that a priority with Jesus. Like there's no other priority than joining every day for 45 days and just see what happens. Like, are we worth that? Yes, he's because it's a symbol in the mind of joining with him every day. And being willing, like Mary says, to see where we're generating guilt, to see where we're not following, to see where we're in the intellectual play of consciousness around A Course in Miracles rather than living it. Because he's really calling, for it's the deep looking, it's the direct experience. Like, no more dinking around. Come over here. You're a powerful infinite being. Get over here by me, lift your head up out of the bubble and stay out of it. So it's really glorious to have mighties like this with this level of devotion. It's holy. He said we would be given mighties, but we can't divine what that looks like, and we can't define who the ones are that are given. So we're looking at the schedule and coming up with a joining schedule. So this is just an invitation to all our beloveds who we know bring us gifts. See, that's how it works. We know when beings come here to join with us at the center, they're bringing what we need. They're bringing the assignment for Jesus to us to look deeply in the mind, to see where we deny light, where any kind of little scrap of desire to say no to God is. And we'll put you on one of either the Spanish group or the English group so that you can be, and then you can volunteer if Jesus guides you. Volunteer to just be available for blocks of time during the week just for joining. And then say, bring it to me, Jesus. That's it. Give it to me, Jesus. I'm ready to see it, because you are strong enough. We're all strong enough to see this. Because what we'll see is innocence. What we'll see is the power of divine being. What we'll see is that he's right. We're supremely happy and just pretending, like finding all the ways not to be. So yeah, we're going together, you and I. And then you'll be supported, by your brothers that are just symbols in the mind of making the decision to align with spirit 24/7. And that's very, very helpful to have. It's like Lisa Ferret said about David. She said, I needed this symbol in my mind of uncompromise. I needed the David symbol in my mind of not being willing to compromise. That is really valuable. Until we can choose to say only yes to the last unanswered question unequivocally and not dither around. He knows we're going to dither around in 1, 2, 3, the play of consciousness up there. But at some point, that is ending time. He says, When we answer yes unequivocally to the last unanswered question, that is the end of time. He's saying yes, because it can only exist in the denial of light. It doesn't really exist. It's a figmentation in consciousness, but the play of consciousness in the dream can only perpetuate itself when there's some kind of no to the last unanswered question. He says yes, so I trust him. And like Mary says, now we're looking at what are we saying no to and to yes to, really? What are we really saying yes to? We're saying yes to all that's given by the Father when we follow a prompt. No, this is really glorious, Jesus. I'm so grateful for this time, and this time with Mighty, so devoted. Yes. To see the power of joining in the light. And then we'll be posting up, and we're looking for beings. You can let us know already. You don't have to wait till we post it online if you're willing for the 45-day program. And you're going to be looking for a partner for 45 days where you want to just commit no matter what, because the ego is going to try to call you out, give you all kinds of reasons. You got to go shopping because Santa Claus is coming. I can't do it because I have work, but we'll commit to MBAs or going to work every day 8 hours, but we wouldn't commit 1 or 2 hours a day to Jesus just for 45 days to see what that would be like. I don't think I understood what that would be like, actually, because that's a play of consciousness, not really to know. I'm asking him, so this takes determination. Yes. Self-commitment. It takes trust, because we have to trust, as he says in a new covenant, that we're more than the idea we have of ourselves. So, beloveds, thank you. I'm sending love to all of you out there, and our gratitude for being symbols of truth in the mind. You're little God antennas coming together to line up. Good to hear the voice. Love you. Sending love.